today for our SurveyPocket presentation. And just let me know if everyone can see my screen here. You should be able to. And we shall go ahead and get started. The presentation will last no more than 30 minutes and will also include time to answer any questions from the audience. Let me go ahead and open this up. Just one second. Okay. Alright, so my name is Esther Lavielle and I'm here with Andrew Jevons, and we're going to be speaking to you about SurveyPocket, which allows you to collect data or administer surveys anytime, anywhere. Our fun tagline that we like to tell people is to ditch the pen and pad and save trees by using SurveyPocket. Before we get started, we do want to give you a quick background about our company. SurveyPocket was created by Survey Analytics, which started back in 2002. We're one of the fastest growing private companies in the US, and we're also number 12 on Puget Sound Journal's Top 100 in Washington. We have well over 6,000 clients worldwide, and we are growing. Besides the SurveyPocket tool, we also have a micro panel, also Question Pro, Survey Analytics, which is the enterprise license, Idea Scale, MicroPoll, Survey Swipe, and all sorts. My name again is Esther Lavielle. I'm the Chief Education Director over at Survey Analytics. To the right here, you'll see this is just a small list of our clients. Some of them you might recognize, such as Career Builder, Safeway, Microsoft, Roku, and such. I'm joined here today with Andrew Jevons, who's the Executive Vice President of Survey Analytics, and he comes to us with a background as a software developer and also as a person who with a lot of experience in market research. I think it's over 25 years or 20 years of research and also neuropsychology. So he brings a lot to the table with us here, so it is a great pleasure to be able to work with him, and he will be sharing with us the tools and capabilities of the SurveyPocket. So on our agenda today, it's going to be fairly quick. I would say about 30 minutes to really introduce to you, what is SurveyPocket. We'll also show you the SurveyPocket advantage and how you can take advantage of it versus traditional field research methods or methodology. We'll put together a quick list for you, 10 steps how to put together a field research project with SurveyPocket, and we'll also look at a live demo and review the results, and we'll open up the floor for additional questions if you have. Again, if you want to give us any feedback or questions, feel free to post those in the question or the chat box located on the control panel and GoToWebinar. We'll also be able to share with you the recording as well as these particular slides after the webinar as well. So, a little bit more about SurveyPocket. Basically, the SurveyPocket tool is an app that is usable either on the iPad or the iPhone. It uses the Survey Analytics platform to collect data and to create your survey from that point. The data is collected and then it's stored in the iPad or the iPhone until there's internet connection. And that means that it is an offline application, and it allows or enables data collection anywhere using the iPhone and iPad. And other platforms are going to be following as well. So if you heard about the other tablets or other Android tablets out there, we are working hard to include mobile applications or offline applications for them as well. So with the SurveyPocket tool, it'll allow you to collect data anytime, anywhere. And you can use these type of applications with your field team either at trade shows to collect contacts or uh, quick opinions while people are at the trade show and experiencing what's happening there. And they can pretty much allow you and your team to capture the data at that particular moment. So again, we always want to reiterate again, it's no internet is required. You are not tethered to internet connection. So this is the biggest selling point for many field teams. This is just a quick screenshot, and we'll go live to show you a demo of the iPad applications of SurveyPocket. But basically, here this is the key in which to open the SurveyPocket. You would just set up a device key, and then you can auto loop your survey. So instead of having to open up your survey each time, clicking a link, all you have to do is click on loop and it'll auto loop your survey. So allow you and your field team to manually field the survey or take the survey quickly. It also capture location data, so if you're interested in finding out what particular areas that you are at to see whether or not you gather more information in certain areas over others, this will allow you to capture location data. So SurveyPocket versus traditional field research. We wanted to reiterate why SurveyPocket is really going to change the way you handle or currently administer traditional field research. My background actually is from market research, so I have administered and worked with a team to field actual research, and I can tell you some of the most important and very tedious points in gathering data from the field is the data input and collection from your field team and then having to reformat it to gather results for your clients. Oftentimes they will have to wait for the results, so they cannot find out how you did until after all your data has been input. So that means that they will have to wait, and generally it takes at least a day or more, depending on whether or not your field team will get back to you in time. That's something that you really don't have a lot of control over. So we want to reiterate here that with SurveyPocket, you'll be able to allow to review overall results quicker. With the SurveyPocket tool, all you have to do is click on a link, and it will basically will allow you to upload all the data at that point as soon as you get into wireless connection. And then the results are going to be more accurate than paper results because you don't have to sit there and define or review or see whether or not you have to be able to interpret someone's handwriting. This will allow you to unify all that, so you don't need to worry about that. The other great thing about SurveyPocket is that if you need to make any edits to the actual survey that's in the field on the fly, this makes it a lot easier to deploy any changes to the survey questions that you would have. And then you'll also be able to allow clients to review the results throughout the fielding process. So we will be able to issue dashboard accounts, which will give them access to just the report side. And that is actually, I think, is one of the best selling points as well. So instead of waiting until the end of the day, once someone gets into some sort of wireless connection and connects it up, then the clients will be able to go in and access this pretty much anytime. Also with SurveyPocket, you can do the GPS tracking. So this will allow the managers or field managers to change field strategies and improve your completion rates. So if you find that particular locations are faring better response rates, then you can move more of your team to that area if needed without having to discover this at the last minute. Oftentimes with traditional research, you don't have that kind of information available for you until towards the end of the evening, and then having to retrain your group at the morning powwow before you send the team off is when everyone makes those changes. So this is going to cut down on that opportunity and then also allow you to improve completion rates as needed. So this is just a quick shot of that. So I would definitely recommend going into using the SurveyPocket versus the traditional field research. We put together here just 10 quick steps, how to put together a field project with SurveyPocket. So first of all, you do want to create your survey in Survey Analytics, and we'll show you what that looks like and how easy it is. Then you would go to the mobile tab and you would create a device key. And there's one device key per iPad. And again, as the screenshot showed earlier, you'll be able to type in that device key and then it will pull up the exact surveys that your fielder would need to use for that particular day. If they need to use multiple surveys in one particular day, they will also be able to access it with very specific keys that you have specified. Number 3 is you want to make sure to test your survey on the iPad to make sure it looks, aesthetically pleasing, it's easy to use, questions are showing up properly, and that it's collecting the data correct. And then the 5th one is obviously training your field team and assigning device keys to each fielder. And then you want to assign steps to update the data when devices have internet access. That's always important to make sure that if you and your clients are interested in trying to gather data while it's being fielded, to figure out what particular spots they can do this in. Number 6 is setting up the dashboards for your clients to review. So you want to make sure that you work with your Survey Analytics account manager to ensure that dashboards are available. After that, it's time to deploy your survey. And with deploying the survey, you'll be sending your team off during that particular time to field your survey, whether it's a conference or a trade show. And then you would make sure that you have a field manager available to review the results and make any changes, which is number 9, to either the survey or change field location via GPS if needed. And 10 is reviewing the results under the Reports tab using our analysis tools and allowing your clients and showing them where they can access the results. So we're going to go ahead and show you a live survey demo, and this will include how it looks like on the iPad. I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to Andrew at this point. So just one second here. Andrew, do you have the controls?
Hi, everyone.
Okay, great.
I do, and good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Everybody, I think, should be able to see my screen. Esther, can you see it?
Yes, I can. Let me just I want to make sure it looks bigger
Okay.
on my end, too.
So, what you should be able to see here is something that at the top here says iOS Simulator. We have a simulation system for an iPad, and this is really giving you exactly what you would see on the iPad or indeed on the iPhone when you came to use the application. The first thing that you'll see is a list of the surveys when you bring up SurveyPocket. There is a mechanism for configuring, as we saw on the PowerPoint presentations. We have a device key. We can tell the system to loop round. We can actually allow the system to capture location data. For iPads which have cell phone access, it uses, I believe, the standard GPS system that's built into those chips. If you don't have GPS capabilities on the iPad, it will try and capture the location via the Wi-Fi, and there is a lot of information on the web about how it does that. Of course, when you're on an iPhone, it uses all the facilities within the iPhone, and we just have a little bit more information here. The Loop Survey facility is actually quite important, particularly when you're trying to use it as what people would term a kiosk, which is where you really just want people to be continually filling it in. You hand it to people. It could be at a trade show. We currently have a large airline who's looking at trying to use this system. actually on aircraft to do customer satisfaction or in the airports. So it's a really useful facility to have. It's simply looping round and round. We'll go straight into the demo here, and then you just simply click here. The first thing it does is, because we've said that we're going to capture location data, is it gives you some indication of where you are. It tells me how many completed questions I've currently done in this session, and how many questions there are in the questionnaire. When you do this kind of mobile data collection, it's actually quite important, if you're using a field force, people that you've employed to do this, to know that they are out in the field collecting the data. In the past, when paper questionnaires were used quite a lot, and still are in many parts of the world, you have to conduct regular audits to make sure that the people who tell you that they're out collecting data are actually collecting the data where they say they are. With SurveyPocket, all this worry goes away. You can see exactly, particularly as I said, if you have GPS capabilities on the device, precisely where and at precisely what time that data was collected. And this in itself can be very important data. Now the big button down here, as the name implies, is Start Survey, so we'll do that. We've got a pretty simple survey here. I'm going to use my actual keyboard, and it really works in the same way as any application that you would have on an iPad or anything like that. I'm just going to do some rubbish information here. And this says I'm a male, so we have a single choice out of many options. Now this is a question where you might have lots of different things that you want to know if people have. I have wireless internet, I have a TiVo, I don't have Apple TV, I used to have an Xbox, but I'll click that. And so now we go next, and we'll get the next question. Now where I actually live is actually a place called Cincinnati, not in Seattle. How long have I been here? I've been here about 4 days, because I'm actually in Seattle at the moment. Now here's an interesting type of question that we've set up for here. Scale questions are very popular when you're doing research or any types of questions to do with people's opinions. And we set this up so you can actually have a slider and people can drag this along and move it. And as you'll see, the text will change. So it's showing them which you've programmed in, so showing them that what their opinion that they're giving here, and they can easily change it if they think that they want to amend it. And we simply click next, and that really is the end of the questionnaire. And as you see, we've come round again, and this is an example because I set it in loop mode. We've come round again, and we're ready to do the next questionnaire. So you can imagine at a trade show, you would just be able to hand it to a group of people and say, here, fill this in, or tell us what you think about this, and then you can just simply take it back. You don't have to intervene to make sure that the questionnaire runs again or anything like that. Now we're going to quit out of this questionnaire. We'll go back to the screen at the beginning. As you can see now, at the beginning it said we had 2 completed surveys. Now we have 3. And there's this button down here, which is slightly hard to read at the moment, which says Synchronize. As we said before, SurveyPocket works effectively when there is no internet connection. Now, of course, you're going to want to get the data back to your central data store, to the Survey Analytics servers. When you get to a situation or a place where you have internet connection, you click on the Synchronize button. And now it's uploaded the data. The data is now up on the servers, and you're ready to continue with your interviews. You can store a huge amount of surveys on the SurveyPocket because of the iPad and the iPhones actually have quite a lot of data storage. But it is a good idea to upload things periodically. While these systems are very, very reliable, I mean, many millions of these devices are used every day, it's probably a good idea as often as you can, perhaps every 10 or 20, just to do the upload. And of course, your managers at home or whoever your client is probably going to want to look at the data as it comes in. And now all you'd have to do to continue is simply click, and we're back in the survey again, and it's telling me where we are. I can go back here, and We just have a couple of buttons here, just extra ones. You can give us some feedback about the application and some feedback about features. Now, as we said, this works with the Survey Analytics survey system. And the screen you see here is actually the screen that was used to set up this questionnaire. So we can see we have the contact information, gender, my multiple select choices, and Survey Analytics survey system is very easy to set up. For instance, if I now show this screen, we can see here how we would set up this multiple select that we've got here. I can easily add or delete options on this. We can edit the text. And this is immediately available to everybody who's using SurveyPocket out in the field. One of the big problems used to be in years gone by was that you might print a lot of questionnaires and you would send them out to people in the field, but perhaps the client or you wanted to change the questionnaire. And this was a really difficult logistical process to distribute updated versions. With SurveyPocket, all you need to make sure is that when that you've made the changes, when people synchronize the data, and this is again another reason to be synchronizing your data regularly, you will get the updated version of the questionnaire. And you can test out how this questionnaire works without having to run it on SurveyPocket. We have a preview mode here where you can go through. It does look slightly different. We're at the moment doing a lot of work to make the interface on SurveyPocket, or what the user sees as beautiful, if you like, as pretty, with lots of graphics. The web interface here, and this can be the same questionnaire, is pretty much the same as they would see on SurveyPocket. And this is, again, important. You might have a research study or a lead tracking type application where you want to give people both on the web and both on in remote locations that aren't connected to the internet the same questionnaire. All of the data, whether or not you do it via the web or you do it via SurveyPocket, all of the data goes into the same repository, and so you can have multiple modes, multiple channels to get your information, but it all winds up in the same place. And this is really important. These days, people have a lot of options as to how they can carry out surveys. And we think it's important that you give respondents control, if you like, to be able to carry out those surveys in whichever modality they choose to use. Now here actually is an example just up here where it says http://surveyanalytics.com. Is an example of a link that you would distribute if you wanted to send out the web questionnaire. Now we do have reports here which will show some of the data as it comes in. So this is because we've been using this test quite a lot. We've actually got 13 completes on here, and we can get a snapshot of what people have said really very quickly and very easily. And you can imagine that this is very different from when you have to wait for data to be uploaded by questionnaire or anything like that, or data entered if it's paper. You can immediately see what's going on. We can look at the rating scales here, the topic, the presentation, the slides. And so it's all really fast and easy to do, and you really do have the ability when you're using this application to get the widest possible range of respondents throughout your community. And this is one of the great strengths of SurveyPocket. Now I think I'd like to give this back to Esther.
Great, thank you. So let me know when we have that.
I think I should have stopped sharing my screen.
Okay. Yeah, I should here. Oops, just 1 second. Okay, here we go. All right. So we have a couple questions that came from the audience here. Doug asked, is it possible to disable the home button on the iOS device you're using?
Not at the moment, but we can check into that. I'd be interested to hear why you wanted to do that, but I think that should be possible.
And another question as
I'm just going to write that
well.
down.
Yeah, good idea.
Uh-huh.
And the other question I have here is, can video, audio, and in general multimedia be included on the survey?
This is something we're actively working on for the next release. We wanted to get the basic question types worked out at the moment, but that is something that is very definitely on the development path at the moment.
Fantastic. And if there's any other questions, people, you can also go ahead and post those in the question box as well, and we'd be happy to answer. Um, if you wanted to go ahead and talk about pricing as well, Andrew, feel free. Or I guess you can see on here that you can contact us for pricing. It depends on the number of devices. We have multiple device key packages available, so depending on how large your projects are or how long your projects are, we can work out a price that would work well for you depending on the type of field research you're planning to do. We also have consultants with field expertise available if needed. So if it's one of your first times using SurveyPocket and you want to talk to someone who knows how to use it, you will get an account manager, such as myself and also John. We do have a lot of experience putting together field research projects, and we also are very well connected with expertise in the field who have, oops, oh, I apologize. I think I saw myself on mute there. Um, I saw that you guys couldn't hear me. So my apologies for that. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about pricing, and that would be dependent on the on what you're looking for. The pricing on Survey Analytics will include the SurveyPocket application. We'll be able to set up a multiple package device key package available depending on how large your field team is. And we can also connect you with consultants or account managers who have field research background. And so if you're interested, just go ahead and give us a holler or email us for further details. So it looks like there might be a couple other questions here. This was from Doug. The reason why I asked about the home button being disabled is because we don't want people going into the settings for your app as well as exiting and using other apps on the iPad.
That's a good application. We'll make sure that we look into that. That makes perfect sense.
Okay, sounds great. Yeah, so really appreciate the feedback on that. If there's any other questions, feel free to go ahead and post. We've got about 3 minutes left, and then we can go ahead and conclude our presentation. And if you have any further questions, you can always give us an email. Here's our contact info. And we'll also make sure to share the slides that you just saw as well as the recording, so you can share it with your team if you are considering the offline mobile research application. I believe you can go ahead and go on the Apple iTunes and download the SurveyPocket to try that. That's still correct, right?
I believe that yes, the system is on the App Store at the moment,
Okay,
the Apple App Store.
great. So yeah, if you want to go ahead and go into the Apple iStore and you have an iPad or iPhone and you want to test this, you can go ahead and download a copy. You do want to make sure you have an evaluation license or a license from Survey Analytics to get this started. So you do want to make sure you create your survey first, and then you'll be able to start using the tool on the iPhone or iPad as well. So it looks like we don't have any other questions at this point, so we're going to go ahead and conclude. Oops, actually it looks like I might have some more. Let's see. I have a question. Can you use the iTouch on this?
If it runs iOS, I would think so, actually, because it's anything that runs iOS, and I believe the iTouch does that. So I'll give a tentative yes on
Yeah, and actually, I do want to confirm that it is a yes, so because
that. Okay.
so we can do that because I actually have a team that I'm working with that does use it on the iPod Touch.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, great. All right. So it looks like we don't have any other questions. So I'm going to go ahead and pass this back to Andrew just to do a quick conclusion and closing remarks, and we shall be done for today.
Thanks, everyone. As we said, we're very keen to hear possible applications from you. As I said, we've had a wide range of people indeed using the system or inquired about it, and trade shows, on-site surveys, or questions about conditions on sites, particularly to do within factories, seems to be a popular application. We'd like to thank you all for attending, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Goodbye.